Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shooting It Straight with Donnie C. I am your host, Donnie C, and I want to thank you all for coming, hanging out with us, spending some time. Time is valuable. You're spending it with us, and we love it. And when I say we, there's more than just me. There's my good friend, Dave. Dave, hello, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you, sir?
Doing good. So for those who haven't watched the show, shame on you. No, for those of you who haven't watched the show, this show is basically a show about you and your questions. But how do you ask me questions? You ask me questions by sending us emails at shootingitstraightwdc@gmail.com. Right there. Dave gets the emails. I don't receive the emails because that would be easy and then I would have time to think. I don't like thinking. Dave knows this my whole life. I try not to think the most I could possibly get away with it. So what happens is Dave gets your emails. While we're live recording or while we're live, he reads them to me. At that point, I got to shoot him back and give an answer with no prep, no nothing, just right off the top of my head. And that's how the show normally goes. We have a couple segments, we do a couple of this, we do a couple of this, we have some fun, we laugh, and we enjoy because life is too serious, and we are definitely not. But today's a little different.
Today is going to be different, yes.
Today is different. Today we're not going through with questions for us.
Nope.
Because, well, you know a little bit about us already, and I hope you know a little bit about our guest, but we've got a special guest also today.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dave,
yes.
Without further ado...
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Marcus, the Maniac, McGee.
All glory to God. First, guys, I got to give it up to him, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I am a striker. That's what I plan to do, and if I can choke you, I will, but I want to drop you first. We'll get back to the drawing board. I'm going to get better, and, whoever they send me, we'll be ready for the task.
3-0 UFC fighter, striker, Marcus, Maniac, McGee. And I toned that down for Dave because I was going to go big with that. Yeah. Marcus, welcome back to the show. Thanks for coming again and hanging out with us. We appreciate it a lot.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on again, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Congratulations on your win. You are now 3-0 UFC fighter, 9-1 total record, 3-0 UFC. That's got to feel amazing.
Yeah, I definitely take it in, and I'm thankful for how it's all played out. So plan to get back to work and keep the train rolling.
Okay, all right. So now, the first time we talked to you, you found out within a very short amount of time about your first fight, and then you were able to plan a little bit for the second one. But how did you find out about this fight? Was this a planned fight, or was this spur of the moment? I believe this one was planned, correct?
Yeah, this one was planned. So I was already matched up against Gaston for my last fight. It was supposed to be me and him in August, but he pulled out due to injury, and they replaced him with JP Bays about 7 weeks out. Mm-hmm. So I got plenty of time to prepare for JP Bays as well. And then after that fight, I got offered Gaston again, but they wanted it for October, and I was like, all right, no, October is a little bit too soon for me. And then I guess November didn't work out either because I had my sister-in-law's wedding, and that's a once-in-a-lifetime event, so I couldn't. So they ended up pushing it back, still giving me Gaston for January. So we knew about it with plenty of time. He knew about it with plenty of time, so we could both prepare for the matchup.
Okay.
So were you training for Gaston before he had to cancel the fight?
Go ahead. You can say pulled out before he pulled out.
Before he pulled out.
Dave didn't want to say pulled out. I'll say it, Dave.
I was going there, and I'm like, Don's going to say something.
Yeah. And I was training for him. And I always say, I'm never really necessarily training for somebody. There's different attributes that we all bring to the table. I'm just training to get better. And I feel like if I'm working on getting better, when it comes time to fight anybody, I'll have tools that can compete with anybody, right? So yeah, I definitely was looking at him, and I already knew about him too. I knew about him throughout I pay attention to the MMA circuit pretty well, and I especially when I see things from guys that I really like, and he was one of those guys that I definitely liked a lot of things from. So I had watched him before. I knew a bunch of his tactics, and I obviously knew he was going to be improved, but I just knew I had some stuff in belt as well. So I was definitely excited to get the matchup.
Yeah, because that's why I was wondering if you had that little time period, so you were well prepared for this fight because you know I mean you knew you were going to fight him, but you didn't. But now you did fight him, so you know it showed you had him.
Did you watch a lot of tape and everything else? Like, when you go into a fight, do you watch? I know your trainers know the fighters you're going up against, and I'm assuming you would know you would know your opponent also because you got to be prepared for what they're going to do. But do you sit there and watch a lot of tape? Or is it just kind of like you trust in the trainers to give you that?
I trust my trainers as well, but I do watch some tape. Not a lot of tape. Again, I just like to see guys' speed. I like to see guys' range. I like to see guys how guys move.
Right. Okay.
Just those couple simple things that I like to see. And then that kind of just gives me an idea of it gives me a silhouette, right? A silhouette of what I need to be looking at because that's what every day I'm just focused on putting that silhouette in front of me and trying to defeat that silhouette. And then when I step in the cage, I kind of have already fought that silhouette multiple times. And that's kind of my mentality going into it.
So it's like shadow boxing with an image of a shadow. You already know what the shadow size is, so you're going in shadow boxing with a specific shadow.
Yep.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
So when you said you pay attention to who's in your division, the fighters that are there, are you also for your for down the road, are you like, okay, maybe I'll fight this guy, I want to fight that guy, so you're scouting who you actually, who your future opponents would actually be?
Yeah, and honestly, not even like the guys I want to fight. I'm pretty open to fighting everybody.
Right.
And I just don't like
Equal opportunity, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like getting attached to one or two names, particularly, especially at this point. We still have so many guys ahead of us that I don't necessarily look at it like that. But I do look at them and go, okay, I can see the UFC setting up that matchup. I think about matchups most likely, more wise. Like, okay, what has he done inside the UFC? What has he done outside of UFC? What's his record? What's his skill set? How does that? Where we rank? Where we both rank at? And like, oh, okay, that might be a fight that the UFC sets up, Right. So that's kind of the only really thing I look at in that aspect. The rest of it is just me as a fan, me as a fan watching these guys, looking at different techniques and styles and the way that they utilize those techniques. So a lot of it just comes from the fan side.
Okay. Well, you talked about ranking, and me and Dave were discussing this earlier. Your ranking has jumped.
Has gone up, yeah.
Like redonkulous.
From last time
you're number 7 now.
Well, yeah, I was looking at Tapology. Tapology has you for number 7 MMA Fighter of the Year for 2024, and they have you number 49 as the current best MMA bantamweight fighter. So
yeah, I did see both of those. So, and honestly, I don't know how that translates into the UFC.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did see the number 7 most up and coming, which I don't understand a whole lot of those things, but
it's got to feel good, though. It's got to feel good.
if they're willing to give it, as Kevin Hart always says, take the flowers, buddy. These are your flowers. Yeah. You grew it. You deserve it.
How much say do you have? Like, if the UFC is saying, okay, you got to fight this guy, do you have any say in, no, I don't want to fight him, or I will fight him? Like, or can you call out a fighter if say they give you a guy and like, no, I don't want to fight him, I want to fight this guy? Does it work that way, or you just have to fight whoever they put in front of you?
Which I think that we do. We can, we do have some say so in that as well. But for the most part, I'm pretty much yes sir kind of guy. Especially if it makes sense. Like if it's outrageous and it doesn't make any sense and it doesn't make any money, then that's different,
Why?
But
why would you do that?
Right.
Yeah, if it makes sense, if it makes sense, then for me it's like it's a go, So, but I do think we have a little bit of pull in there. Not much, Obviously, like we can't be picking fights. We have to be ready to fight everybody. But I do think that at the end of the day, if we say no to a fight, we say no to a fight. Now, how that affects us and how that affects how our bosses look at us, is probably going to play a big part in that,
Right.
But like. We do get a little bit of a say so there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, since you were training so much for this fight, when you walked in, going into this fight, like I know you're always prepared regardless. I know you, and I know how you operate, and you're chill going in. But how much more, like, were you not overly confident, but were you confident going in knowing I've been training for so long on this, I've got this one, no questions? Or because even the stats were in your favor, like pretty good.
Honestly, it's not a confidence in myself, man. I have to say it, you know, as cliche as it sounds, it's a confidence in God. You know, I feel like he put me right where I need to be. He always does put me right where I need to be.
Yeah.
And it's like confidence that win, lose, or draw at the end of this, I'll be fulfilling what he put me here to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's not for my glory, it's for his glory, it's for his kingdom, you know. So like for me, like I more so than ever before, I walk in there with that confidence, you know. Like the song I was singing before, the song that I walked out to was saying that same thing. Was more like it's for his confidence. It's confidence that he has already won. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
awesome.
So this is just me doing another thing that I'm get to do in life. You know, it's like so.
It's awesome.
But it's, so I wasn't overly confident, just like oh, I'm gonna go out and smoke this guy, but I'm confident in what he's giving me. You know?
Right. Okay. All right. I was watching the fight. I went to the fight watch, and I was hanging out. And one of the coolest things for me was while I was there, your kids were there also. Obviously, your family was there and everything else. And I was able to see them watch the fight too. And at one point during round 1, you guys were kind of feeling each other out a little bit. And then all of a sudden I heard, "Get him, Daddy." And I was like, oh, that's what it's all about right there. That was awesome. And I probably, like, nobody ever told you that or anything else, but like hearing your kids be so excited for you to do what you do, it was an awesome moment as a father and stuff like that. Like, I wish my kids could see some of the work that I do. Like, I've built some buildings in New York or off in New York and stuff, and I could show them in a movie, but they don't get to see it like that. Your kids get to see it, and to hear them say that was amazing. So I just wanted you to know that, like, ridiculous.
I appreciate it, man. And honestly, I've gotten to see a couple videos, and it's always awesome because like they'll do their own little reaction videos and save them for me, you know.
Right.
It is cool, you know, because they'll tell me beforehand, like, "Dad, I don't know for sure if I'm gonna watch this one." And I'm like, "Hey, I might bleed. Things might go crazy in there, but just know that I'm coming home with full love for you, anyways."
Right.
You know, so like, and then they end up watching, you know, and then they're kind of more confident too, you know, like, you know what? He's right, you know. So it is a beautiful thing. It's the most important thing, right? You know.
That's right.
So I'm glad you got to see it. And honestly, I bet that was my daughter Cassidy right off the rip. I'm sure.
I think so. I'm not sure who it was, but I mean, they were all standing like right there together and stuff like that, a little clan. And I was like, all right, just having fun right in the front because they were, you know, they're shorter and everything else. So they're just sitting out there and watching, and it was awesome. It was awesome to see that.
You're making me think about the Rocky IV or whatever, when he was fighting in Russia, and then his son was watching TV, like doing this stuff.
Oh, we lost Marcus. No, come on. This happened the last time. I thought we were going to be better. I thought we were going to be better than that. Come on, Marcus. Damn it.
My bad.
Oh, he's back. We did not do this. This is not a Pete move. We did not pull him up.
Yeah, that was on me. That was on me. I hit the button, the wrong button.
That's all good.
No worries. I was like, damn it, it's happening again. So during the fight, and I think it was the first round, you hit him. And I don't know if you hit him with the right or left, but you definitely hit him with the fist shot. And you kind of backed up and you put your hands up. And I know we've talked about this in the last podcast also. You can feel the energy leave a man's body. I was wondering, in that moment, if you even remember it, I'm sure you remember bits and pieces, or if not all of it, but do you remember hitting him to the point where going, okay, the fight's going to be over for a second? And then it was like, okay, it's not over?
It literally, I hit him with that shot because I felt my knuckles dig into his temple. Like,
Ooh.
I felt it. It was a hard shot, you know? Yeah. And the fact that he bounced back up, I was like, whoa.
Right. I saw that, and I saw your hands go up. I'm like, he thought he had it first round. And I thought the way it was going, you were controlling the first round too. So I was like, it was a solid shot.
Yeah.
And then
honestly,
I was like,
I felt it. It hurt me. It hurt me to land it, you know?
Right.
So I was like, I thought for sure it was over. And then he popped back up, and I was like, okay, well, I need to find that shot again.
Right, exactly. Okay. And then you got the ground and pound and everything else. And I know you're working on grappling and everything else, and you're getting better with all of that and stuff like that. But does anybody ever say they want to see you grapple more, or is there like, because for me, I love seeing you strike. Like, that's your fight, and I love watching when you connect. I love seeing your fist hit somebody's face.
Yeah. You know, people do want to see me grapple, and that's all cool, and I do plan on grappling, but I'm gonna grapple when it's time to grapple. Like
When you need
if
to.
if I don't have to grapple, like even this guy, the moments that I felt the need to get in there and do some grappling, then I do. But I like striking, man. I really do. If it's my option and I have a choice from whether I want to choke you or I want to punch you, I'm gonna punch you.
Of
course. Yeah.
And Gaston is known as a striker, right? So
he's a striker.
It matched up great for you.
Yeah.
It didn't match up great for him.
No, not for him, but good for him.
I was excited to get that striker match, But again, when I do get a grappler and we get into those transitions where it is going to be heavy grappling, then I'll be excited to show off the grappling premise that I've been building as well,
Right.
And that'll be fun too. But again, like even in those midst of it, I'm gonna be throwing punches. I'm gonna be trying to take this guy's face off the whole time. That's what I'm gonna be doing, and hopefully that sets me up for other submission attempts.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I know that we discussed this also, but the UFC gives you some. I don't know if we actually discussed it or I heard it on one of your other podcasts that you did or whatever. But UFC gave you some pre-meals on the first fight you went to and stuff like that. How did that work this time? Now that you've done it a couple times, you're a little more experienced in this UFC now. When you go in, do you still get those prepped meals, or do you have to specifically eat a certain way and you go, okay, I'm going to train my way and eat this, or they give you the meals?
So we have options. We could use the UFC PI, which is the Performance Institute. They have a team of nutritionists, and they will make meals for us. Or we can go out on our own and get a nutritionist, or just make our own meals throughout the week and handle it ourselves. I have been utilizing the UFC because I definitely, it's such a benefit. There's no one else that does it like them. It's such a benefit to have that as a luxury. So
100%.
I do. And everything that they've told me has worked, And I already have a nutritionist out here, Ancient Terran Nutrition, that I work with regularly. I actually had lunch with him today.
Okay.
But he's who I work with regularly to get to be in shape, to get down to the weight that I need to. But just having another team alongside, because again, up to this point, it's financially wise, bringing my own nutritionist would be very expensive. It's something that I definitely want to do in the future is bring my own nutritionist along and be able to have him there. And again, as with the bigger purses that come along, I could put that into the budget,
Right.
But I couldn't do that before. So having the UFC PI there to be like, hey, well, we're going to help you anyways. This is what we're going to give you. If you eat these meals, no matter what point in the day you eat these meals, this is what you get to eat today. It'll be plenty of calories for you. Get 2 training sessions in. Drink 2 gallons of water.
That's great.
Yeah, it's
how do you beat
luxury,
it?
Man.
You can't beat that. That's amazing. That's awesome. And it's great that you're able to do that.
Now, do you have? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't take it for granted for sure.
Yeah.
So with the UFC, do you use like their training facilities and do they offer? I'm assuming this is the big show now, man. They give you everything that your heart could desire to prepare for any fight that you have.
So when I'm in Vegas, then I use their facility. So if I'm in Vegas, I'll use their facility, and for fight week, I'll use their facility. Like I went to the jacuzzi a couple times, the sauna over there. I did do a couple workouts in the facility as well. But I do like to do the workouts they'll have a workout room at the actual hotel as well, where they'll have mats in there. We'll all be in our own. We have 2 different rooms, and each room has their corner. So I do like to do that as well. But yeah, absolutely. And it's just mostly because I live here in Phoenix and I have the family. I would probably take more advantage of it if I didn't have my kids and wife.
Right.
But having them and all the kids being in sports and plays and musicals and all the stuff that they do, just kind of makes it a little bit harder for me to travel to and from. And at this point, my kids are getting so much older that I'm missing these moments. Like there's like a no thing. Like I can't do it. Being there for them.
I understand
so much more.
I understand. I was thinking about opening my own electrical company years ago, and I just said, you know what? With the amount of time I got to do it, I'm going to miss all my kids' stuff. It's not worth it to me. I'd rather do work for somebody else and they can make some money off of me, and I get to spend time with the family because that's what it's all about.
Yeah. We've discussed, me and Don, we brought this up on the pod a couple episodes ago or last episode, whatever it was, about cold plunging. Do you take advantage of any kind of cold plunge? Because I'm hearing there's great recovery from fighting and stuff like that. I don't know. Do you utilize that? Because I wouldn't do it. Don said he would try it.
I've done it.
I would definitely say give it a shot, but man, it's not for the weary of heart. For sure,
is that right?
It's not for the weary of heart. It is going to test you in ways that you didn't think possible. Especially for me, I can deal with so many different types of pain. Cold is one of the worst ones that I deal with, right?
Yeah. I usually don't mind the cold so much, but I jumped in my pool and it was 52 degrees. And I was like, it's a cold plunge. Let's see what it's like. And the cold plunge is even colder. But I jumped in, I was like, oh my God, it's cold. Oh my God, it's cold. Like, yeah, it's a different way of life.
That a lot of these guys are doing it like 39 degrees.
I know. I know. It wasn't even close to where I was.
I've seen cats breaking the ice off of the top of the stupid thing and then dipping in. No, that's too much.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I do it. So I take advantage of that. I actually train at this place called, or not train, but I go over to this place called Eminent Wellness as well.
Okay.
And they have a hyperbaric chamber,
Right.
which is like a pressurized extra 90% oxygen chamber that they put us in for an hour and a half. That's phenomenal. They have a red light bed. They have a red light.
Red light, yep.
Okay.
A lot of red light therapy stuff. They have like some electromagnetic stuff. They have a cryo there. So I try to use them as much as possible.
Yeah.
And cryo is very beneficial too, but it's nothing like cold plunging. Cold plunging definitely is. It is the jam. Like, it's not, people aren't wrong about it. Like, it's that great for you, but it is something that you have to really dedicate yourself to and be disciplined for.
Yeah.
It hurts.
That's rough. It does. It hurts inside. It hurts outside. It hurts everything. Because even at the 52 that I went in, it was pain. Like, you literally instantly feel pain. You're like, holy crap, this just hurts.
Yeah.
And my red light is completely. I don't know the red light that you guys are talking about. I know the red light district. And that's different. That's a whole different type of thing. I'm thinking, because that's a great workout too. But
I forgot what it does. What, Marcus? What does the red light do? I forgot what it, because I've heard people this one guy on the Pat McAfee show uses it. There's like a handheld he has, and he uses it on his face. Like, what do you know what it does? I forgot what they said.
It's supposed to like speed up cellular reconstruction.
That's it.
Like,
there you go.
At a cellular level, it speeds up repairing, so it calms down inflammation pretty quickly. Okay. So I was using it on my knees, I was using it on my arms, I was using it on a couple of different things, and like literally within 1 or 2 sessions of doing it, I could see the swelling go down.
Wow.
Especially with the laser that they have, it's just really beneficial. Just get your cells operating at a higher function.
That's awesome. Yeah, my red light district is different completely. The swelling goes up in the red light district I was talking about. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So it's totally different. All right.
Yeah.
What was one of my questions for you, because I know you like to eat your food. I know I've seen the munchies and everything else. What was your meal after the fight? Are you allowed to just, at that point, can you just go, okay, time to eat, let's go?
That's literally what I do. Only for 1 week, though. Usually I'll let myself go.
Yeah.
But that's why everyone's always like, hey, man, how big are you in some of these videos? I'm like, don't ask.
Right. So what was your first meal? What was the go-to? What was the Maniacs go, I can eat, this is what I want?
So this time and last time, I was randomly just on Instagram, and I found this restaurant. It's a Hispanic restaurant, but it's like a Filipino Hispanic restaurant where they make it's like carne asada burritos, but with French fries and everything. It's like it's like all in one burrito, and then they wrap it in bacon.
The grease
and
trucks,
fry
Dave.
it.
Yeah, grease trucks in Jersey.
Over in Jersey.
Call them Fat Sam, Fat this, Fat that.
Fat bitch, fat this, fat that. Basically, there was right near Rutgers.
Rutgers, yep.
Right where all the bars are, there was a strip of just like 4 or 5 different bars, and each one was a different style. So you could get whatever club or country or whatever, you go to any of them. And in that strip there was a spot where it was an open lot, and they would have roach coaches.
Yeah.
And they would make sandwiches with chicken cutlets, mozzarella sticks, French fries, and it would all be in one sandwich.
All in one sandwich, man.
So after you're done drinking, you go to the grease truck, and then you get one of these sandwiches, and then you just go to town.
That's what we did.
That's the mixed conversion.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Tore those up, and then we stopped at like 4 other places that night. I had some pizza, some other French fries, some ice cream.
Okay.
Breakfast was pretty good too. When I had some pretty crazy pancakes and the all meat skillet with it. That was pretty fire.
Yep.
Then went and got some more pizza with my mom for her
birthday. Her birthday just passed. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday.
So yeah, just went in, man. Just went in, enjoyed it. Really took it in. There's not been many times that we get to take that in. Because I'll get right back to it. Again, I already talked to my nutritionist today, so we'll be getting right back to getting down to the weight that we need to.
Yeah, but that sucks. I'm sorry.
this is what I do. I try to do it this way on purpose, right? Because I'm not trying to be a person who overindulges anyways.
Right.
I'm just gonna enjoy it while it's
Right.
here and then let it flee. But then again, if I do things correctly and I already go back to my diet and my gut is healthy and I'm doing things healthy, I can decide to cheat here and there because you know I've taken the immediate response.
That's awesome.
So I'm still gonna be able to eat until
it definitely helps. Those cheats help so much.
Those cheat days
stand diets. I can't stand diets where you don't get to eat. And Dave knows me. I can't diet for shit. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. Every day is like a game day when I'm on a diet. It's like, oh no, today's game day. Today's cheat day. No, it's terrible. My discipline when it comes to food, but I'm Italian and I can't help myself. You give me some bread, some macaroni, some rice. It's not like anything starchy. I'm eating the crap out of it. It's terrible. It's terrible. It really is terrible.
Hey, I'm with you on that, man. That's why, even with the Munchies and Marcus, like, that's why I'm like, man, I had to cut it off. I was like, man, I wanted to do 2 more episodes because I wanted to do one before Christmas, and one for after Christmas.
Right.
But I was like, man, I can't do it. Like, I can't go through this. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be funny. I'm not even gonna be good on the meals.
You're gonna be pissed off smelling it, not being able to eat it.
Exactly.
And this meal is great, and I can't taste it. Me and Dave actually discussed that. I was like, we were talking about. I go, he hasn't done Munchies with Marcus in a little bit. I go, I think it's because he's training and he's ready for the fight and stuff like that. I go, I wouldn't want to do it either.
Eventually, I'll get good enough to be able to keep going through it, but I think I have to pre-prep and pre-plan for it.
Exactly. You might have to make some. You might have to make some Munchies with Marcus that are healthy. Healthy Munchies with Marcus.
Exactly. That's exactly what I have to do. And I thought about that too, but I was like, man, I just don't want to even freaking deal with it at all. So
that's not what the show's about.
No.
And honestly, that's another thing too. I'm like, man, nobody wants to see that. They want to see me eat something ridiculous, dude.
Right.
Like I'm just Munchies with Marcus, just munching. Because all those meals are all those ones are like pretty much made up meals that like me and they're all regular meals, but we just put our own little flair to it. Things that we eat around. Nothing's too crazy fancy, which I do want to get better about that. I'm actually like looking at some good legit dishes that I'm like, okay, I gotta learn how to sear the.
Trained professional chef of future.
Get the peaky,
Speaking of being all proper and everything, do you get VIP treatment when you're out in Vegas now when you go for the UFC, or do you get like backdoor access or anything like that?
Yeah, honestly, I've created a pretty good relationship with a lot of the people in the UFC, and that's one of the main, again, like going back to the important things, like the important things are like how you exude yourself on a regular basis to everybody around you, right?
Yeah.
And more so than everything, I really enjoy it. It's been nice even going back to Vegas, but I'm excited to go to a crowd too. But it's nice going to Vegas just because like the camaraderie that I've been able to build with a lot of these guys, a lot of people is cool. It's like I see them, they see me, we talk regularly. We have conversations. Maybe we don't know everything about each other or anything like that, but it's like nothing but positivity and love. So like it's pretty cool. Like that's why I really appreciate it. You would think that a lot of these fighters just walk past some of these guys and they're not some of the employees and some of the staff, and they don't. They never talk to them at all. They're just the person they walk by, and it's like, for me, it's like I hate the idea of that, Like,
no, I get it, and I said it in the first podcast. Like you as a non-fighter, just as a human being, you are a stand-up, humble, just great guy, and even just in our conversations off the podcast and everything else, just down to earth, and you're one of us, regardless of where you go, and I love that because there's celebrities that get into this spot and they go, oh, now I'm better than everybody else. And you're not even near the spot where you go, well, I'm going to look down on anything, because you're so excited and humble about where you are that everybody's an equal to you, regardless of their status or where they are or anything else. And I respect the crap out of that, because I that's the only way you can be in life, in my opinion. Everybody else is an asshole.
That's how I feel. I feel like there's never going to be a point in the time where I start to. I pray, at least. I always pray about it. Don't ever let me get to that point.
I won't let you
become that person.
I'll bring you back down, Marcus. I promise. I'll try. I won't fight you over it, but I'll talk to you about it.
To that point, like how was that adjustment like going from where you were to the UFC? Like, did you adjust like that? or did it, take a little time to get your feet wet and then then you start shit talking people, but like, or whatever. How long did it take for you to actually feel comfortable with them?
Man, I feel like I've been pretty I adjusted pretty quickly,
That's
like
good.
I try not to overthink things. And I kind of went into that way too. Plus, and honestly, I have to say, I've been to the UFC with Kyler and Mario and some of my other teammates, probably like 6 times before I actually got to fight in the UFC. So even when I was coming with them, I still kept the same type of mentality. Like, hey, no one knows me. I'm not anything here. I'm not special here. That's all good. But I'm still going to be like, I'm still going to talk to the off guards or to the guard staff or the security staff. I'm still going to chop it up with the nutritionist. I'm still going to talk to all the baggage and gear team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna I'm still here,
Right.
So
that's awesome.
I think that kind of added to it too. So by the time I went there as well, it's like I saw faces that I had already seen,
Yeah.
And for me, I think that again, that's the most important part. I think that gives me the ability to go into each one of these situations with like an open heart and like good purpose, like good intent, So yeah, I feel like it was. I can't remember the transition happening, and I guess
I don't think there was.
Well, that's good. That's good. Hey, a seamless transition is awesome.
That's what I'm saying. That's how humble you are. There was no transition. You're just still you, regardless of whether you're fighting, your teammates are fighting, or you're going there to watch a fight. Like it doesn't matter to you.
100%.
That's what I'm talking about when I say it's just a great guy who's humble and just appreciates where he's at. That's like you can't beat it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. What's up?
No.
Namaste.
Namaste. Right here. No. Third time now, fight of the night. 3 times in a row, 3 UFC fights, 3 fight of the nights. That's got to feel nice.
Yeah, it does. It does feel nice, and I'm not sure. And honestly, this is just me being, extra. But I think it's performance. I think I've got performance of the night. I did have some people reach out and say fight of the night all 3 times. It was
performance? Okay.
But I think it's performance. Not to say that it was the best fight, but yeah, it was it's always performance of the night that I think I've got.
Not in my eyes, Marcus. It was. Fight of the night.
I'm a stickler. I'm like is it a TKO or a KO? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like,
Okay. All right, I stand corrected. Performance of the night.
Yeah. So yeah, 3, dude. Honestly, it's like crazy to me because I really do believe I have the ability to do that.
Right.
And I don't necessarily feel like I'm going out and chasing it either.
Right.
I feel like again I'm just putting out that intention. With every moment that we have in there, I'm going to be intent on being focused on the task at hand. We have 15 minutes. That means 15 minutes to figure out how to get out of here early or at least finish, get to where I want to do. So, man, it's kind of crazy for it to keep happening,
No. Hey, keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Now, in your head, do you go, I want to keep getting that? Or are you like, it's cool, that's the icing on the cake, but I could care less? And I think I know the answer, but I'm just curious, and I have to ask you, what is it for you?
Don't get me wrong, I would love to keep getting them,
Right,
I think it'd be good for my financial future,
There you go.
but even going into each one of those, that is not my thought process, right? Like it's not like the idea of the 50K is not necessarily what's my I don't use it as a drive. It's not an extra drive, I already have that natural drive that I want anyways. That's pushing me to go into the fight, to show up to the fight, to be there, and yeah, it really doesn't have anything to do with the 50, and I think that gives me a chance to fight how I fight too. I think it does. I think because I'm going in there to fight, I'm going in there to be there for each one of those moments, and through doing that, it creates more opportunities to get the $50,000. So it's real cool. It's real cool, but yeah, no, I can't say that I'm going out there for that.
Right. No, I didn't think you were, but I just figured I'd ask you anyway, just to clarify and make sure. But I didn't think so. But just knowing that it's 3 fights 3 times is like, that's nice.
That's a good string. Keep them going.
I'm just like, thank you. I appreciate it.
With that being said, and you getting extra purses and stuff, does the UFC ever help you with management or financial advice? Or do they have like the UFC goes, hey, listen, guys, user, like Dave said, it's the big show now. do they have you can use to go yay or nay, or is it
No.
a free for good luck, buddy? You make it. Go ahead. That's it, huh?
That's what they usually go ahead, go after it. Here. You're gonna check, go do your thing, you know.
That's a lot of
And I'm
cash real quick.
I'm sure, don't get me wrong, if I was to be vocal, there's
Right.
plenty
Oh,
of information there, right? I think it comes back down to us being vocal, like closed mouth doesn't get fed, you know.
Right.
And if I felt the need to really be focused on those things and not have anybody around me, there's
Right.
people that I could reach out to in the UFC that would point me in the right direction, right?
Okay.
But luckily I do have some guys around me that
Good.
I trust, you know, that and again, like so the first two fights really went back to me pouring into my podcast, pouring into my cooking show, because you know, as you guys know, it's not cheap to do these things.
Oh no.
Right.
For me from my side of it too, I pay a videographer and I pay two separate videographers for each one. And
wow.
you know, they're both great at what they do. You can
Right.
see it in the quality of the material.
Yep.
But greatness comes with a price.
Yes,
You know?
Yes,
Yes,
that's
it
why,
does.
Dave, we're really good. Dave and I are really, really good. We're not ready to be great yet.
No.
I can't afford great yet, Dave.
Yeah. From last year to this year, we just went up one step. That's all.
And I don't
season
blame
three.
you. I don't blame you guys too, because like for us it was like the time, like, okay, this guy's at the gym training every day. We're not gonna be able to pump out material if we put this guy if it's up to me, right? You know, so that was the biggest thing. Is like we're not gonna be able to put that time in, you know. So I had to make the decision, you know. Again, I have a team that I work with, but we had to make the decision. Okay, do we want to have some material get put out, or do we want to put 4 podcasts out in the next 8 months? You know.
Yeah.
So we decided to go with some guys that we knew and that were really good at what they do, and kind of just attacked it that way, you know. And it's been great, but again, it came at a cost, and not just that. Like at the time, that's still my mortgage. You know, I have a mortgage, I have vehicles, I got kids. So I was slowly but surely putting myself in the dirt, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, I understand.
So a lot of that's going to go back to the business, you know? So now I'm figuring out write-offs and all that stuff. Like
Exactly.
You guys know how it is. The first year
do.
of business, you freaking pour all your money into it.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, if you have any questions, we got a guy coming on, my buddy of mine, Little Anthony. He's coming on. He actually does accounting stuff and like that. So if you have any questions, you want to send it into Attention Don, and he'll answer them. We're going to be recording with him next week or so. So if you have anything for him, we'll tie that in too.
That sounds like a plan. I'm definitely going to have a couple questions. I have to get my notepad out.
Okay, definitely bring them up. We'll ask him. I'm even allowed to know those questions. Dave can talk to me about those questions. Yeah. Actually, you know what, Dave? Don't tell me those questions.
I won't tell you.
On that anyway.
Are you allowed with the UFC? Because I know they got everything like their material kind of on lockdown. Are you allowed to do like a vlog of like your training going into a fight and show any kind of clips of your fight and all that? Like, are you allowed to do that, to put that out on social media so that like people can watch your journey to the, you know, from fight to fight?
Yeah, that's something that I can do. And I haven't really dove deep into like my actual fight camps, like bringing people along for like a day to day. It's something that I definitely think about. I see Volkanovski, Alex Volkanovski's been doing that, and I kind of like it. I think it's like pretty authentic, and it's something that I'd be like into doing as well. So I definitely think about that. But for the most part, I just have my videographer come, and he'll get shots of me doing different things, different places, different coaches, and then he just kind of puts together montages and throws them on my social media right now. So that's pretty cool. Still doing it that way. But yeah, the UFC doesn't mind us doing anything like that. Now, as far as video content that on their platform, we can only use like 3 to 5 second clips of the fight and like to put on our, but that's plenty, you know. I think that's plenty to just highlight the fact that we're fighting. You know?
Exactly. Now I'm gonna get back to your social media in a second, but I had 1 or 2 more questions about the fighting. Now I heard a rumor, and I don't know if this is true or not. Are you getting ready for a possible fight in April?
So that's why I talked to my manager and the UFC about fighting in April. We'll see how that plays out. I don't have anything dialed in right now. So I know that they said that. I think that the UFC 300's in April, and that one is that one's pretty stacked already. Right. So I know I'm not getting on that one.
Okay.
Which would be nuts if I did get on that one.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
But I think the only other fight that they have that month is in Brazil. I had heard or something like that, and I don't plan on going to Brazil. Like, the way my taxes work is I just can't go to Brazil right now.
We good. I understand.
Yeah.
So the next fight, are we how close are we getting to main card? Because you got to be there's like talk back and forth a little bit of prelim, main card, like you're close, buddy.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't change anything for us. You know, we get paid the same whether it's on the main card or the only thing is like again is the publicity, right? You know, and again, you guys know me. I'm not necessarily. I do want to build my platform and all that stuff, but like it's not about that. You know, it's not about publicity. Right. But it will be cool to get on there for publicity. You know, I think I get a lot more viewers if I'm on a main card of a big show.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You know, even if they put me on, but I'm down. You know, we can fight in the parking lot. You know,
I do. We from the streets, Marcus. I understand. No matter where, as long as you have a purse with you, we can throw down.
100%. You know, like it's that alley over there. Let's just go down there. You know,
exactly. Well, speaking of your social and getting out there and everything else, I'm going to play one of your social media clips that is one of my favorites, and Dave's seen it now because I played it for him and everything else too. Yeah. But I want to make sure I want everybody who watches our show to see this also because this is honestly one of my favorites. So here's the clip of Marcus.
There's a difference between walking the path and smoking the path. Indica or sativa. Let's see how far the rabbit hole goes. Loaded red potato, chorizo, French fries, Maniac style.
And that is my favorite dish. My favorite ad and my favorite dish from Munchies with Marcus.
Yeah, that one was we definitely turned it up on that one, dude.
Yeah, you did. Talk about production being great. Jesus.
Yeah, all we needed was a fight scene. We just
needed exactly.
A scene in there. You know,
the little slow mo.
Yeah, 100%.
That was awesome. So, Munchies with Marcus, I can't wait to see what you're cooking next. I'm very excited about this because I love watching that show, and you're hilarious. So, if anybody hasn't seen it or anything else, check it out. Yes. And then the other podcast you do is Punches and Pints, and you do that with Brett. And you guys bring on different fighters. You brought your nutritionist. You brought Mental Joe on. You bring a whole bunch of these guys on that are up and coming. Some of you, like I said, some of them are your teammates that are just starting out and everything else. And I got to be honest, it's a great show. You even had your wives on there one time. I thought they were going to blow you up a little bit more while they were recording. They kind of took it easy on you for the record. I was a little upset. I thought they were going to come at you a little harder, but whatever.
No, you know they're actually pretty gentle with us on the show. So, but yeah, you know it's been great bringing on just people in the community, right? I think that's kind of like something that we didn't know where we were going with it, but it was like we're both like kind of those type of guys that are like, you know, like we're kind of introverted, but when we're extroverted, like we want to be connected to the people that we're around, you know. Right. So most part, it's like all the people that we know, people that we talk to regularly, people that have come up with us, you know, people that we're getting introduced to regularly that we just love what they're doing, you know, because like Justin and Rob and Abdul and Randy, you know, all these guys, you know. So I really feel like that's kind of like been one of our niches. So it'd be exciting to keep on trying to do that. We got some other people that we've thought about bringing on too, but again, I think creating that structure is going to help us have more reasoning to have them on, you know? Right.
Yep. No, me and Dave started bringing some, obviously you're a guest on the show. We started bringing, and normally that wasn't, when we first started, that wasn't a platform at all. But then we started going, you know what, this is a cool platform to actually meet and collab with people because there's a lot of great people out there and I want to help them and they want to help me and everybody works together. And that's how you build this whole family of commitment and connection to each other. And I think it's a great and wonderful thing. And I love that you guys do it. And I'm happy that we were able to do it too. I mean, this is awesome getting to hang out with you and talk to you and actually meeting you and doing all this stuff. It's amazing to me. I mean, I never in my life thought I'd be in a position where I'd be doing this. Shooting my mouth off.
Neither. Yes. Shooting your mouth off. Yes. Sitting on the camera with me talking to Marcus. No,
never in my life. So I love where our path has taken us. I love that we get to meet people like you guys and just hang out and actually get to know you outside of just what we see on TV or what we see on social media. But with social media, I have a bunch of your. I'll bring it up right here. These are all your your social medias, and basically your thing is you say just type in Maniac.
Straight up, that's so funny that you call me out on that. I love it, dude, because I'm always like, dude, I can't tell you the differences of all mine. Like, just type in the Maniac. And honestly, like if you type it in, it's like, oh, I guess it really is just type in the Maniac.
No, I understand. I have like 5 different ones, and I've never done social media until this podcast. So I'm like, what is my Instagram? I know what my Instagram is. What's
Marcus? Every day or every other day, I get a notification from our email service that the email has been reset, and I'm like, oh, Don's trying to get in, didn't remember the password again.
I don't know what's going on.
He's got to dumb it down a little bit because he's out of control now.
The password is not password, but pretty soon it might be.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I always say, I'm going to write it down.
Yeah.
Then you write it down, forget where you put the paper that you wrote it down on.
Yeah. A piece of paper somewhere, right? Yep, exactly. Well, Marcus, I have no more questions. Dave, do you have any more questions for me?
No, I think we covered it, man. That was good.
All right. Marcus, I want to thank you. I want to wish you the best success in all the world. Honestly, you are a great human being. We love having you on the show. We love talking to you. Oh,
wait, you got you got the question. Yeah, that. There you go.
What is it?
What is that right there?
What is that?
I call it my Bushido. You know, like it's just my Bushido. You know, like it's just like there's my shield. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like respect. You know.
Okay, so I forgot I wanted to ask that. I even had it. Yeah. I forgot I wanted to ask and everything else. I was like, as you went like that, I'm like, oh crap, there's one more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know the Bushido is like the warrior. You know, the samurai. Yeah. So it's like I don't know. That's just kind of one of my things. Like both my I don't know what these bones are. But both my wrist bones touching each other, and then that slice. You know, is
right.
like,
yeah.
Like respect. Like respect. I'm gonna give you all of it.
All right. I'm glad I remembered that. Dave, thank you for catching up on it too.
You got it. Yeah.
All right, Marcus. Thank you very much. If any of you guys want to, please send your questions to shootingitstraight.wdc@gmail.com. Send your questions. Like I said, we're having one come up where we're going to be having little Anthony come on, and he can give you some tax questions. The tax returns coming up. Send your questions. Attention, Anthony. Subscribe to the show. Hit the like button. Ring the bell for notifications. And until next week, have a good one. Enjoy, smile, and try to make somebody laugh. That's a new one, Dave.
Yeah, thanks. Marcus, thanks again, buddy. Appreciate it. Peace, everybody.
Guys. Appreciate you guys, man. Catch you guys soon.
Bye-bye.
I would say the streets got me into fighting. I didn't like confrontation, but I've always liked fighting. I've always liked that moment, the moment of me being the person in the ring.